Hi guys, thanks for checking out my video. This can be found on bfitdatabase.com, and today I'm going to be talking about weight training and how we progress weight training. Now, I did touch on this before about building a framework in the gym. I mean, when we first walk into the gym, what we have to do is build up an endurance base on the weight training side. So we're going to be looking at high reps and keeping the intensity nice and low. Now, to progress that up through to muscular size gains and hypertrophy training, what we have to do is take that framework and go from an all-body workout and move that to a split routine. So instead of a full-body workout every time we enter the gym, we'll now be looking to maybe do chest and triceps one day, maybe Wednesday coming in doing back and biceps, maybe Friday coming in and training legs. So now we're targeting specific regions. Also, before, when we were building the base, we talked about just really doing compounds. You don't want to touch isolated moves. Now, however, we are going to be chucking in some isolated moves, like a bicep curl, which is just targeting the biceps, or a pull down, which is just going to target the triceps. However, we're never ever going to do that at the expense of compounds. So your chest press, your deadlift, your squat is always going to be your cornerstone. And we're just going to sort of put these isolated moves in and around that. So that's one of the key things about moving from endurance to strength to hypertrophy training is targeting regions. The other side of it is variables, and the main variables are training systems. Now, before we'd have probably just done standard sets of sort of 12 reps, 15 reps. Now we're going to drop the rep range right down to maybe 6, 8, 12. 8 being the sort of mainstay, but you can take that down to 6 up to 12. And we're going to be looking at training systems, and training systems are ways we modify sets. So we might be looking at drop sets, we might be looking at sort of pre-exhaust, post-exhaust training, we might be looking at force negatives. So ways of pushing ourselves through that threshold, because the key for gaining muscle size and strength is always challenging ourselves, always pushing through the thresholds, never letting ourselves plateau. So when we do struggle, when we are at failure, by doing a force negative, by doing a drop set, we are pushing through that threshold and stimulating the muscle that much more. We're also looking at periodization of workout plans. So a workout plan should never last more than 6 to 8 weeks. That is the absolute maximum. Anything over that, you're wasting your time, because your body's already plateaued. It knows what it's doing. It's not stupid. You give it 8 weeks on a program and it gets easier because your body adapts to it. So you've got to constantly keep it guessing. So the key components to hypertrophy, which is size gains, is getting the rep range right, which is in and around 8 reps, targeting the regions, keeping the compounds but throwing in the isolated, doing the training system, so throwing in drop sets at the end, the last set of the exercise, maybe chuck a drop set in there. You don't want to be littering them all the time, but you do want to be throwing it in quite sensibly. And periodization, so never more than 8 weeks on a program. 4 weeks is nice, 6 weeks is good, never over 8. That is the key for size gain. I mean, the top of the pyramid, you can take it right the way up to strength training. Strength training, you're going to be going sub 6 reps. So you're really looking at sort of maximal exertion. Strength is very good, and power, particularly power. Strength and power are very good for sports-specific stuff. Now, that gets quite personal there. When you talk about sports-specific stuff, it's very dependent on what you do and what your field is. So by all means, send me an email if you want any help on that. It's bfitdatabase.com, and I can be found there. But basically, just to summarise, we're looking at an endurance base to start. We can start moving that up into a bit of hypertrophy if we want to gain the muscle size, and then we can move that right the way up to strength training if we want. Okay guys, any more help, just let me know. Thank you very much.